All right, I want to welcome everybody. Day number 2, Freedompalooza, the second annual Freedompalooza. First of all, I'd like to thank Poker Face and the fellas for putting this on. Everybody here at Johnny Mac's for providing the camp area, the venue. I'm going to ask everybody if they'll bring out everything they brought in. That includes cigarette butts, wrappers, all that crap. Let's just make sure next week if somebody's walking through their field, they don't know we were here. All right. Yesterday we had a great day. We got a bunch of great speakers today, a lot of great bands, some local bands. We're going to hear a lot of great speakers. First speaker here is a presidential candidate, a presidential third-party candidate, Mr. Merlin Miller. Let's hear it.
Yeah.
There you go.
Thank you, and I would like to first thank Paul. Paul, I do appreciate you inviting me to come and speak at the event, and I'm most impressed. Numbers aren't huge yet, but the spirit is here, and there are a lot of people that I see are the patriots that are going to come forward and save this country. But not only, Paul, I'd like to thank Poker Face, all the great bands. I heard some great music yesterday. Phenomenal speakers. I think the speakers that were here yesterday were unusually speaking truths that you don't hear anywhere else. Most of the people here have got an awareness that just doesn't exist around the country. You're patriots and you're the future. And it doesn't take a lot of people. It takes a dedicated minority that is going to want to do something to save our country. I'd like to, of course, thank Johnny Mac's also and all the people that have come out here and all the people that are videotaping and doing the sound work. We appreciate what you're doing. I'd like to talk a little bit about the American dream. My background personally is that I'm a product of the American dream. I was raised in Iowa and like Jim Trafficant, born into poverty. We didn't have any money, but my parents worked very hard. They worked themselves into the middle class. And I was very fortunate to be able to go on to college. They did their best, my sister, my brother, and myself, and I was the most lucky. I was able to get a nomination to the Military Academy at West Point and got to go and join the class of 1974. It opened up a world of opportunities for me. My classmates include David Petraeus, who's now director of the CIA, Martin Dempsey, who's chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, and Keith Alexander, who's director of the NSA and the Cyber Command. They're good people. I know them personally. They know what's right. They know what's wrong. They're patriots. I'm not sure they're doing everything that's right for our country just now, but they didn't get where they are by not obeying orders. I do think there's a general awakening in the country that's going on. I think it's in the military. I think it's in the intelligence services. The general public is not aware. They're sound asleep. Events like this can change that. We need to somehow find a way to penetrate the mainstream media. Along my journey, I was politically correct most of my life until about 2002. And fortunately, while I got into the film industry, which was my dream, my idols growing up included Walt Disney and the Founding Fathers. I was fortunate to get into a program at USC, and I was a fish out of water, coming from Iowa, Midwestern values, a Christian background. I wasn't really that welcome in that environment. But motion pictures where I wanted to make my mark. I did have some success, all independently. No support whatsoever out of Hollywood. I got to produce a couple of films, A Place to Grow, and Jericho, a mystery western, which you may have heard about. It did get quite a bit of airplay. But beyond that, we had no financial success. Every barrier was thrown in front of us to prevent us from having the kind of success that the Hollywood types would normally experience. Along the way, though, I was fortunate to meet a survivor from the USS Liberty. And this was about 9 or 10 years ago. And that started a process of awakening for me. And I ended up writing a treatise called The American Dream. If you're interested in reading this, it was connecting of dots, military intrigues, media intrigues, and political intrigues. And it was a shocking experience for me. You can actually read this at our film company website, which is Americana-Pictures.com. Pretty shocking, but it led me on an exploration to try to find out what's really going on in the country, and it was very shocking to me. I shared the American dream with a lot of my classmates who looked at me like I had 3 heads. They didn't believe it was going on. Of course, most of them and most people in the military, probably 99% of the military, are true American patriots. They're doing their best. They're doing the job that they think they were called upon to do. They don't realize they're being used and abused. It's a system that is totally corrupt now, in my opinion. But at any rate, this journey led me to wanting to develop other projects. I developed one called False Flag, which really connects the USS Liberty's story to current intrigues in our country. What's going on? And it's about a journalist who connects these intrigues and tries to prevent the war on terror from being escalated into World War III. It's an edge-of-your-seat political thriller. We are out there trying to find support. Of course, we'll find none in Hollywood. It's politically incorrect. The enemy in this one is the Mossad. It's the Israelis. It's those enemies who do not put America first. And it's a pretty controversial product, and as a result, we're probably not going to get any support, and funding is not easy. We are opening some doors now. We do believe that after this political campaign is over, I'll be able to focus my energies on getting this film produced. Along the way, I was actually recruited by a political party, a new independent political party called the American Third Position Party, to help build an alternative. I was a Ron Paul supporter, a very strong supporter. I still don't know what's going to happen. I was hopeful he would continue the fight all the way through the convention and even consider going independent afterwards, in which case I think a coalition of parties will have come together. It may still happen. At any rate, we're going to see where this goes, and we've got some possibilities to help contribute should he decide to form a coalition effort. I've also, along the process, written a book called Our Vision for America, and I'll be selling it after speaking up here if you're interested. It's going to be a shocking book in a lot of ways because it's very truthful. It's the kind of information you're not going to find in the mainstream for sure. But it was written with the purpose of trying to identify what ails America today and what can we do about it. What is reasonable for us to do as patriots. It tackles what happens when countries are attacked to be destroyed. If you study history and you go back to the Roman Empire, at one time, of course, Rome was a republic and they got corrupted along the way, became an empire. And that process is happening in America today. And if you study history, you'll find that there's really 5 ways that countries are destroyed. Of course, first is financial. I heard some good speakers here yesterday talking about that, how our currency has been debased. Of course, we have the Federal Reserve, which should not exist. We need to coin our own currency. It should be gold or silver backed, some commodity backing, and be issued by our Treasury without any interest charges. We need to get rid of the Fed and repudiate that debt. Of course, financial tyranny goes beyond the currency. It goes to what's happening production-wise. We've got a bunch of people in Washington, D.C. that are traitorous to the American people. They've sold us out. These free trade agreements, of course, are not fair in any way. We would like to see those repealed. We need to put the American worker first, not the interest of multinational corporations or foreign nations. It's very simple to do. You put some tariffs on the goods that are coming into this country. You give the incentives to producers in America, the entrepreneurs. You don't burden them with red tape, all kinds of costly taxes. You free them up. The American spirit is such that if we are freed up, we'll turn this situation around overnight. Within a year to 2 years, America will be back on its feet. But financial tyranny is one of the 5 ways that countries are destroyed. A second way is military interventionism. You study history and countries that are always at war. And for a long time, America's been at war. And these wars are certainly unjust, they're unconstitutional, and they shouldn't be happening. The forces that we have in the Middle East, it's costing us dearly, our finances. It's costing us the blood of our young people. We need to end them. It's destroying our reputation throughout the world. I agree with Ron Paul. We need to pull our forces out immediately, get out of these 140 nations and 800 bases, get back here and protect our borders. The third way to destroy nations is you destroy the identity of the nation. You destroy its national character. If you look at what's happening to America, through most of our history until the mid-1960s, we were European-derived. Europeans came to this country, they founded it. The Founding Fathers created the brilliant documents, our Constitution with our Declaration of Independence, our Bill of Rights. An incredible, unique experience in history. And we've got to protect that. But from their founding all the way through the building of this great nation, we were 90% European-derived until the mid-1960s. And all of a sudden, the Immigration Act was changed, radically changed, to allow an invasion from the Third World. That was legal immigration. Since then, we've had an illegal immigration invasion. It's taking place. We've got to stop it. They're taking our jobs. Of course, they're going on welfare, taking away from the working middle-class American who certainly can't afford to support our own country, let alone the invaders that are coming in here. Our party, the American Third Position, is very strong in stopping the invasion and removing illegal aliens from this country. We've got to do that. And no time is greater than now when we're suffering. The suffering is going to get much greater here in the next year or two if we don't do something about it. A fourth way that countries are destroyed is moral degeneracy. You can look at our media. You can see what's happened. I've been a part of the media for about 30 years now, and I see what's happened from within. There is an agenda at work. It's to destroy our values, to destroy our religion, to destroy us from within. People find that hard to believe, but I've been a part of the system. I know it exists. People like me that represent mid-American values, who have heroes like Walt Disney, can't get to first base with a project. The movement definitely needs an alternative in media. We need some wealthy patriots to step up and say, we need our own networks, we need our own companies that are going to put beauty, quality, heroes on the screen again and tell good stories again. Stories that make us proud of who we are, proud of where we've been. If we don't have that, we're going to continue to degenerate, and our young people are believing this. They're being brainwashed. Their attitudes and beliefs have been radically affected, and we've got to stop that. We've got to turn that around if we're going to have a future for our young people. The last way, the fifth way that countries are destroyed is actually government dysfunction, and I call it government corruption. And you can see now by the Justice Department some of the decisions that are coming out of the courts. There's no common sense basis for them. I mean, they're totally unconstitutional. You look at our Congress, the Republicans and the Democrats no longer serve the American people. They serve special interests. Very clear to the American people now. You can look at the bailouts. You look at the total disdain for the American people, and especially the working man, the middle class. And I'm a proud advocate of the middle class because my life has been improved because of the opportunities that America provided for a middle class. If we lose that, which is the goal of the New World Order, to destroy America from within and destroy our middle class, then of course the rest of the world is going to follow suit. And this New World Order is going to take root. They're well along the way. We have to stand up and start to fight it now. I'm doing everything I can within my sphere of influence, which is still very small, to try to get people to stand up and say truthful things, do the things that the country needs if we're going to turn things around here. I think our party effort is a beginning. Ron Paul still could come forward in such a way to really kick this thing off in high gear. But if not, we can't depend on that. We have to continue to build the movement. We have to grow within the patriot community. We have to educate people, get them to stand up and do the right thing. This is a historic battle really between good and evil. It's a spiritual war that's going on. Good people know right from wrong. Evil doesn't care. Evil really doesn't care. And that's what we're experiencing right now. So we've got to get people to stand up. And the speakers that were up here yesterday, I'm proud of them. They're sticking their heads up out of that foxhole. They're taking a lot of flack, but they're up there doing the right things, and hopefully we'll follow their lead. And hopefully we'll all stand up and start doing the right things for America. One of the things that we want to do as a party is we want to put on a major event. An event, something in spirit like the Freedompalooza here. We're calling it a Gathering of Eagles. We're looking to schedule this in the Nashville area the second weekend in October. What we'd like to do is bring you patriot groups together and unite. The speakers yesterday talked about the need for unity. In history, there was a man named Arminius, who in the time of the Roman Empire united the tribes of Germania to fight the Roman Empire. It changed the course of history. And for a short time, he was able to bring these squabbling tribes together. And they were all fiercely independent. They didn't want to work together, much like our people. And it's amazing how much factionalism there is. But we have to stand together. We have to come united. And whether it's a coalition of independent parties that come together, whatever it takes, we have to stand together, at least for the time that it takes to get our country back. We have to win America back for the American people and save a future for our kids. If you can, please put on your calendar a Gathering of Eagles in October. Our websites are merlinmeller2012.com and americanthirdposition.com. We'll have information coming up within the next 2 or 3 weeks about specifics about the Gathering of Eagles. So we hope you can join us for that. And we do want to sell our book. Our book is I think, an incredible common sense for today's generation. And I want to thank everybody here for listening. And please do check us out. We think we're something unique. and we want to be a part of the team that can save America. And I know you're all a part of that team, so thank you.
Thank you, sir.